Greetings, YouTube. I have a bit of a conundrum, and I'm turning to the tabletop role-playing game community here on YouTube for some advice. I don't always review things I read. Sometimes I don't review them because people have given to me. I don't think they're very good, and I don't want to hurt their feelings. They aren't so egregiously bad that I think people need to be warned away from them. I have made videos about things I thought that were that egregiously bad, books, games, movies, what have you. Sometimes it's because even though I paid money for the product, I could tell that it was somebody's passion project, maybe even a one-man operation, and I didn't feel the need to be cruel to them. In fact, not long ago, someone asked me to review something, and I picked up a copy because they asked me to. It wasn't very expensive, and I can't review it. It's not a type of game that I'm really into, and it was not well executed, in my opinion, on any level, mechanically, layout, writing, nothing. But I find myself in a unique situation at the moment. I backed a Kickstarter in 2020, 2021. The digital copy launched, and then later in the year, the physical copy launched. So I have both a hardcover book and a digital copy of this product. And the person that got me into the Kickstarter is one of the developers. And I know them. I've known them for years. I have a great deal of respect for them. I like them as a person. And there isn't anything really mechanically wrong with the system that I've purchased from the Kickstarter. It's not really my style. It's a little bit too narrative for my tastes, but there's nothing wrong with the system itself. It would be quite playable if that's your thing. No, but the problem is that the setting as presented to the reader, in my opinion, is either absolutely inappropriate and problematic or unplayable. What do I mean by that? Well, they're presenting a very skewed view of the universe within the narrative of the game. I'm not saying that this is the view of the people that wrote it, but within the narrative of the system itself, the universe that is presented to the reader, it's a very skewed view, and that, in my opinion, completely ignores the reality of misogyny and racism. So the players are left with two choices. One, ignore it and just buy into the setting that is rife with misogyny and racism and just play along with it, because that would preserve the narrative of the system presented to us. Or look at it from a more modern 21st century perspective, a more progressive perspective, and that would mean that you couldn't play the narrative as it's being presented, because since the narrative ignores misogyny and racism, to pay attention to it and to address it intelligently and maturely would mean you can't play the narrative as it is being presented. I know I'm being very vague here, and I'm trying to not give enough information that people will figure out what I'm talking about, because again, my goal is not to hurt people. But I paid money for this, and the people that are involved in it are professionals. This isn't a one-man operation. Backed by an actual company. And I think that they have done a disservice to the community by presenting a system that presents, in my opinion, a gaming narrative that either can't be played the way it's supposed to be played to enjoy the setting that's been created, or you have to just ignore the misogyny and the racism. And I'm really not comfortable with that, even though I'm never going to run this system, because again, it's more narrative than it's my preference. I don't even want to give a positive spin on it, which would mean if I did a review of this system, it would not be good. And I would potentially hurt someone's livelihood that I know, that I like. But I paid for it. And this may be one of the instances where I think something is egregiously bad enough that folks need to know about it. But I've been wrestling with this for like a year, and I can't come up with a decision. I can just ignore it. I never have to say another word about it. This video remains vague. I never mention it again. Or I tackle it. I talk about the system, what I think is weak, which is strong, and then I talk about what I think is problematic about the setting that's been presented to the reader, to the gaming community. And that is going to cause rifts. It's going to annoy some people who would be more than happy just to hop on board with this system. It's going to annoy people because I'm potentially harming folks' livelihood. And it could potentially cost me someone's friendship. And I don't want to lose that. But I also don't want to be disingenuous. I don't want to say something's good when I don't think it's good. So I'm left in the situation I'm in. Never review it. Or review it and annoy a bunch of folks, potentially hurt their livelihoods, and maybe lose a friend. It's not a situation I really wanted. It wasn't one I actually thought I would encounter, because I thought that in the modern era, 21st, early decades of the 21st century, we're 2 decades in now, that anyone would present a setting this problematic. And I'm left in a bit of a lurch. So I'm turning to you folks. Have you ever found yourself in this situation? Stuck between doing what you think is correct and hurting people, or just ignoring it and maybe folks buying into a system that you think is problematic? So yeah, I need some help. And I'm hoping that you folks can give me some. I'm looking for advice. There are a lot of very thoughtful people that have commented about my videos in general, but in specific, my gaming videos. I have gotten some really wonderful analysis on some of my videos, points of view that I had never considered. People have talked about stuff that in a way that makes my videos deeper, because they've gone into a direction that I hadn't necessarily considered, but it plays off what I had said. So I value the comments on my gaming videos. I really do. I think they're important. And there are people here I really look forward to when I see their name pop up in the comments about my RPG videos. And some of them aren't even named Amy. So I need your help. That's all I really can say, I guess. That's how this ends. This isn't a particularly cheery video. That's why there's no pleasant, colorful lights behind me today. But what would you do? I would like to know. Thanks.